Before we start, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more. The story begins in Iceland in the year 1002, where young Thorfinn lives peacefully with his father, Thors, a former Viking warrior who abandoned the battlefield to live a quiet life with his family. Despite his violent past, Thors believes that a true warrior does not need a sword. Meanwhile, Floki, the leader of the Vikings, orders Thors to rejoin the war against England. Thors initially refuses, but is forced to leave when he realizes that refusal might endanger his village. Thors sets sail, secretly preparing for his departure, but Thorfinn sneaks onto the ship to accompany him. Along the way, Thors and his crew fall into a trap, set by the mercenary leader Askeladd, who has been hired to assassinate him. Thors fights Askeladd's men bravely and defeats them without killing anyone, but he is ultimately slain in an act of betrayal after Askeladd uses Thorfinn as a hostage. Thorfinn witnesses his father's murder, leaving him in shock and grief. Determined to take revenge, he stows away on Askeladd's ship, but he is too weak to challenge him. Stranded in the wilderness, Thorfinn begins learning survival skills, hunting and fighting to prepare himself for the day he can face Askeladd. Thorfinn grows into a skilled but vengeful warrior, fighting alongside Askeladd's men while waiting for an opportunity to challenge him. During a battle against the English army, Askeladd promises to duel him if he can kill the enemy commander. Thorfinn succeeds but starts to witness the brutal reality of war. Thorfinn fights on the front lines, proving his combat skills, but he is still unable to defeat Askeladd. After the battle, he continues working as a mercenary, seeking opportunities to grow stronger. The Vikings continue their raids on England, and Thorfinn once again challenges Askeladd but loses. Askeladd tells him he lacks the experience and mindset to defeat him. Askeladd's group arrives in London, where they encounter the mighty warrior Thorkel, one of the strongest Vikings. Thorkel, impressed by brave fighters, becomes interested in Thorfinn upon learning that he is Thors' son. Askeladd is assigned to capture Prince Canute, the weak and timid heir to the Danish throne, to use him as leverage against the English. Meanwhile, Thorkel, now fighting for the English, pursues them. Thorfinn continues his attempts to defeat Askeladd but remains unsuccessful. Meanwhile, Canute struggles with his lack of confidence and fears the world around him. Askeladd and his men are hunted by Thorkel's forces. He realizes that Canute is unprepared for the harsh realities of leadership. Askeladd's group is stranded during the harsh winter, facing internal conflicts as some of his men begin to question his leadership. The situation worsens as both the English army and Thorkel's forces close in. Askeladd must devise a way to escape with Canute. Canute experiences a major turning point after witnessing the death of his companion and mentor. He begins to see the world's cruelty and resolves to change his fate. Canute starts thinking strategically about his role in the power struggle. Meanwhile, Thorfinn remains fixated on revenge against Askeladd. Askeladd starts to see Canute's potential as a ruler and decides to support him. Canute confronts his father, King Svein, for the first time and begins plotting against him. Canute fully embraces his leadership role, gathering support from soldiers and gaining political power with Askeladd's help. Askeladd's soldiers become increasingly suspicious of his true motives, sensing that he is no longer prioritizing their interest. Canute finalizes his plan to take the throne, while Askeladd realizes that his own fate is sealed. Askeladd and Canute prepare for their final move against the king. Meanwhile, Thorfinn desperately seeks a last duel with Askeladd. Askeladd reveals his true heritage as a Welsh noble, and his deep resentment toward the Vikings, although he has long hidden it to execute his plans. Askeladd makes his final decision to sacrifice himself for Canute's success. In a shocking turn of events, Askeladd kills King Svein in front of everyone, forcing Canute to kill him in return to solidify his claim to the throne. With Askeladd dead, Thorfinn is left with no purpose. The revenge that had fueled his existence for years is gone. In his grief and rage, he attacks Canute but is restrained and imprisoned. His story ends in uncertainty, leaving his future unknown. Thorfinn's world collapses as he loses his purpose, setting the stage for his new journey in Season 2.